If you look at any pop culture website that's been covering any amount of Marvel, well, anything really, from the films to the TV shows, chances are that in the last 2 years, you've probably seen an article, an editorial, or a think piece focusing on what in the world is Marvel Studios Phase 4 and what are they doing with all these projects? Why are they so different and so varied? You know, which is in stark contrast to what everybody was saying before Avengers Endgame, where they were complaining that there was too much similarity between everything. I guess you can't have it both ways. So now Marvel Studios openly talks about why exactly there's so much variety in Phase 4. The man known as Papa Feige, aka Kevin Feige, the president and leader of Marvel Studios, was recently talking about the future of the MCU, and specifically talking a little bit about why Ms. Marvel is so different compared to everything else, and why there's so many projects all over the place in terms of what they bring to the MCU. From the Eternals, to Shang-Chi, to the multiverse, to various things happening down the road, like Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and multiple unannounced projects. And he said that anytime you look at the MCU, it doesn't have to be the same thing. It doesn't have to be the same character. It doesn't have to have the same tone. It doesn't have to have the same style. They want the Marvel Studios logo to be looked at as something that's just there to tell you this is part of a brand, but that the product that you're getting is going to be different from one to the other. And he specifically said that if you just look at the across-the-board release so far of Phase 4 and what they're doing, that there's so much that they have yet to even touch upon, and so many other projects that are going to be happening, that it's really going to be this kind of setup to a whole new Marvel universe. And it's interesting because I looked at some of the responses to what he said, and there's a lot of backlash because people are saying they don't want this. But it's the same articles and pieces of news and reports and the replies in them with the same people that were complaining about how everything felt too much like the MCU formula. But now they're kind of bucking that trend. You know, Ms. Marvel has a style that you're not seeing anywhere else in the MCU. Or pretty much anywhere else outside of, like, I guess Spider-Verse would be the closest thing to it, right? Like, the animated film. So, it's really interesting that now he's got to justify having a variety of content. Because before it was like, oh, it's just a Marvel movie, it's just a Marvel movie. But now they got all sorts of Marvel movies. They got comedies, they got family things, they got crime, they got, you know, horror. They're doing everything that people wanted for so long, and now that's being looked at in a negative way. And I like that he addresses it by saying, well, that's kind of our goal. It's to be all over the place and really do a little bit of everything. So I honestly really appreciate and like that, because why not? You know, there's people like us who are going to watch everything, and there's people that can pick and choose what they want to watch. You're not forced to watch all of it. And that's kind of the beauty of Marvel and comics in general. You know, I don't like reading Batman specifically, but I do like reading Batgirl, so I pick up Batgirl. The choice is there. I'm not forced to read one over the other.